Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New Artist Spotlight podcast. I'm Wilko Wilkes, and Origin Cross unfortunately can't make it for this one as he's moving all the way across the USA. So he's got a lot to do, a lot on his plate, and he'll be back with us soon. But thank you, everyone, for listening and joining us for another episode as we interview some of the greatest emerging independent artists from global music. The whole of the New Artist Spotlight and everyone chipping in is all a part of this podcast. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got any ideas, suggestions, feedback, send it my way. Love to hear it. Same with Origin Cross. You can reach out to either of us on Instagram or on Discord or wherever. And as always, don't forget to have a look at the website, newartistspotlight.org, for some of the greatest playlists in world music, plus news, reviews, and lots more great content on there. So today's guest, all the way from the Netherlands, is one half of the Ennrons. Welcome to the show, Bernard.
Hi, Wilko. Good evening. Thanks for the invite.
Great
to be on. Yeah, great to be on the New Artist Spotlight. I've been on the roster for quite a long time. I think almost from the beginning. So, it's nice to finally get on the podcast.
It's in demand, mate. Yeah, there's a lot of people. You finally got your chance, your moment in the sun. With that in mind, tell us a bit about the Ennrons for anyone who's not heard of you.
Right. Well, we're acoustic duo, acoustic guitars, but also when we do recording, we also do acoustic bass and stuff like that. But it's mostly two-part harmony or sometimes harmonica. And I've got a melodica and all sorts of others. So I do all the wind instruments and play and sing. We write our own stuff. It's kind of, we're trying to keep away from the kind of singer-songwriter-y vibe. So a lot of our stuff is kind of more like pop, almost into the rock. So we're kind of acoustic rock, we call ourselves, or acoustic. But yeah, it's not singer-songwriter stuff mostly.
It's very good, it's very interesting stuff. I like it. It's quite, it's really soulful. I think it's really from the heart. You can tell that you put your passion into it when you're singing, and all the arrangements are fantastic. It's quite haunting in places. It really kind of gets to the core, I think. And I don't know, do you both sing on there?
Which one?
So do you both sing?
We both sing. It's funny because when we started, I had a whole bunch of songs that I'd written, and I was looking for somebody else to co-write stuff with and to play with. So a lot of the early stuff I sang on because they were my songs. And as we started to co-write together, Ron starts to sing a lot more, and he's been very, very prolific actually in the last year, the COVID year. I think he's written about 50 or 60 songs.
Wow. That helps then.
It does.
It
puts a lot of pressure on me as well. So he kind of writes the ideas down, and then we sit down together. We make an arrangement, and So I'm becoming much more of the solo partner.
Right.
So I do a lot of the solo work. I do a lot of the let's say the lead guitar, if you can call acoustic two acoustic guitars. One is the rhythm and one's lead. And we try to say, mix who's got the voice that will match this kind of the vibe. And Ron's got a bit more of a powerful voice, if you know what I mean, a bit more of a rock power.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've got a much wider range, so I can sing quite low and I can sing very high.
Yeah,
but I haven't really got that kind of gruff voice that he has. So in some songs, it definitely suits my voice a lot better, and he does the backing vocals. And on the latest song, Wakker Vannacht, that was Ron, and I do the ooh at the end that you hear very high.
Your voice reminds me a bit of Roy Orbison at times.
Yeah.
And I love that, mate. I love Roy Orbison. Yeah, you've got a really nice quality to your voice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, and I suppose it gives you quite a nice diversity that you've got the difference between both of you.
Yeah.
So take us right back to the beginning then, Bernard. When you were a child, take us back. I want you to be 4 or 5 years old now, 6 years old.
Well, my mum was a big fan of Elvis Presley. And I remember because I come from, I'm quite a bit, I think I'm a lot older than you are. But anyway.
Do you want to disclose your age or?
Well, I was actually, yes, it was my 51st birthday last week.
Right, happy birthday for last week.
Thank you very much. So when we were kids, we had a record player. And I remember my mum had this she'd bought this box from the Reader's Digest of 7 LP box for all Elvis Presley's, and we used to sit there on Sunday, she used to play it on the Sunday, and we'd all dance in the living room, you know. So from a really young age, we were kind of infused with music. And I remember listening to Billy Connolly on the record player, just because he's actually a very good, gifted banjo player, Billy Connolly.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, so listen to all those kind of records. Just music was in the house all the time. And I remember one of the first things I wanted to do was I recently learned how to play the bagpipes, or the chanter, not the actual bagpipes itself, because I wasn't big enough at the time to do the bellows under my arm.
You just wanted to annoy all the neighbours.
No, I'm from my background is Scottish, you see, so I wanted to, you know, and we were living in England. My parents moved out to England.
Oh, very good. Whereabouts?
In Coventry. Not
my whole family's from Coventry, mate. Both my parents are from Coventry, and so I've got loads of aunties and uncles in Coventry. Yeah, go there.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
All over, mate. Binley, Stoke.
Oh yeah. Stoke. Oh yeah. My mum lives in. Well, their children anyway, but my family will live in kind of out towards Longford. And out towards I can't remember the bloody name is now. God.
I've got a great auntie. I had a great auntie in Earlston as well.
Yeah. And Canley as well. So
yeah.
But anyway, we're getting off the subject here.
Oh no, the listeners will love this. Yeah, half the people listening in Sri Lanka will be like, "What the hell are these guys talking about?"
We're talking about areas in Coventry where neither of us have been. Well, I haven't been there for a long time, and I've been living in the Netherlands for 20 years, so I kind of don't go back very often these days.
So is your are you actually British then?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm British.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Ron is Dutch, and I've been living in the Netherlands for about 20 years. So yeah, I mean, you know, I always loved music, and I think, and I remember when I went to university, a friend of mine introduced me to the guitar, and it was always my ambition. My favorite guitar piece was the intro and the solo for "Make Me Smile" from Steve Harley, Cockney Rebel.
Yeah. It's an absolute classic. That.
It's so hard to play.
Oh,
we actually do a cover of it.
That's a classic, mate. Yeah,
it's a classic song, and so I always wanted. I mean, I never did. It was my reason for learning to play the guitar was to be able to play that solo and that intro, and I never did. And now we play it as a cover version, and Ron does the intro and the solo. And because I'm singing, so it's like my whole reason for ever learning to play the guitar is still not actually materialized. So one day, once
I've learned it, I'll play this on stage with somebody else playing it for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard, you know. But it's that little touch paper. Or it's not that,
That sort of little touch
it's not that
paper.
Complicated. Yeah, it's not that complicated, but it's hard. Because it's quite fast. But anyway, so I mean, I've always loved music. I've always been into music. I've been playing for about since I was at university, I think so, about 25 years, maybe more 30.
So have you always been in bands and stuff? Or because I noticed the first Ennrons single on Spotify anyways is 2018. So is that sort of how long you two have been playing together, or?
Well, when I was in the UK, I was actually in a barbershop quartet, a cappella singing. And then I moved to the Netherlands in 2000, and it took me quite a long time to find anybody to play. Moving to a new country and all that stuff. So we met up in 2016, Ron and I, and we started writing stuff. And we put, we started then performing as well. Once we had enough material to do an hour set. And then we just started to say, well, we're just going to put some of our stuff on Spotify. Why not? We weren't really that, in the beginning, we weren't really that interested. More like, oh, we've recorded something, let's put it on Spotify. So we sort of
somewhere to keep it organised.
Yeah, but it's also nice, just to have something to put on Spotify and have other people listen to it and stuff like that. But we're never really a big priority. I think it's only in the last 2 years, I think we've really started to focus on putting stuff on Spotify, making it better quality. If you listen to our early stuff that was live recordings, it was okay, but it wasn't great. And now we're starting to, put a bit more thought into what we're doing and actually recording properly, good recording equipment, mixing. I do the mixing as well. The producing, but getting some good kit to do it and improving it all the time.
You can tell that as well. I've listened through a lot of it. I've listened to all of it, and like I say, that the early live recordings a little bit echoey at times, but then you've got stuff that you've released recently, like Holiday, for example. Is the production sounds like professional quality? It sounds amazing. You've done well. So what motivates you to keep going, and kind of what's the big dream?
What motivates us to keep going is we just can't stop.
Addicted.
I think anybody in the NAS family will completely know what that means. It's like, well, we just can't stop. It's and I think we both enjoy it. I think that's the biggest part of it. I mean, I can't see. I always will be wanting to make music. It's part of, it comes from within. And while it's still creative, and while we're still doing stuff that when we write something, that we both get inspired about it, and it touches you, and you both get excited about a new song. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool. That's the feeling. And it's like, that inspires you to carry on, to do even more.
What about the dream then? What's like the
dream? The dream. The dream. Yeah. Well, I guess now I'm older, it's not such it's a bit more of a different dream. I would like to be able to pursue a music career. I mean, I have a normal career at work job. And see, I've got a very good pension, you see, so I will be able to retire the end of next year.
Brilliant.
And then one of the things I want to do is, now the production quality is, I want to start my own studio, at least to start mixing and mastering stuff. So like during the next year, like 2022, I'm going to be starting to do a bit more for other people as well. So kind of put myself out there, and that is my dream, is to be able to do that professionally, and to record our own stuff and it just improve and get better and better and better, and at some point be able to make enough money for it to be self-sustainable. I mean, in the music industry, it's really hard. We've got some contacts with people in the Dutch music industry, and I think our dream would be to have somebody take one of our songs and make it big, or to do something with it. We're not. Ron has tinnitus, so he can't really perform on a big stage. So we're really acoustic. So our whole set, it will only be acoustic. It's never going to be a big, a lot of our stuff. I mean, you listen to the songs we've made. It could be played by a full rock, could be played by a full band or an orchestra, whatever. So we've got that always in mind. So I think to be able to sell our songs to somebody who would take it to kind of national or international level, that would be the dream, I think.
Yeah.
We would do it ourselves.
But that's it. I mean, it is a dream, isn't it? Because it's so competitive. But it's nice to be able to think like that. And I think with music, it does give you the chance to dream, and it gives you the. I liked what you said just about, the main thing is that you're enjoying it. I think that's the lifeblood of it, isn't it? There's not much more enjoyable than performing something that you've written and people enjoying it, and even just doing it on your own. It's that feeling of accomplishment, and like that you've actually managed to kind of bottle up a period of time or some feelings that you've had and package it into something that'll outlast you potentially. I think about that, the legacy that you leave, and it is addictive. Once you start, you just can't stop thinking about it, can you? It's always in the back of your mind. And the studio thing, that'll give you an excuse to just buy all the equipment you've always wanted to buy as well.
Well, I would, the thing you were just saying about legacy, a lot of people bang on about Spotify, and yes, I know that Spotify could pay us a lot better, but anyway, it also gives us this. I mean, I'm from a generation where I would never have actually gave up the idea of becoming a professional musician when I was around about 25, 26, because I just knew I would never get the break, or it would be very difficult to get the break into the music industry. And I think the music industry has changed so much in the last 10 years. I mean, for 20 euros a year, you can put all of your songs on Spotify and get them put out there for everybody and anybody to listen to. I think that's amazing, and because the possibility of actually leaving a legacy like that, putting your music out, putting your voice and your expression out to the world to be listened to, is something that this generation of musicians has that previous generations didn't have. And I think that's something that's actually quite amazing to have experienced that, to have to have been around when that is available. It's quite an amazing thing.
I do agree with that, yeah. And that kind of leads us nicely on to talking about a little bit about New Artist Spotlight, because there's so many talented individuals and bands and great artists on there. But I find it pretty inspiring when I'm listening to the playlists, and you get so much cool stuff from different genres and people of different ages, people from different backgrounds, different countries, etc. And how did you stumble across New Artist Spotlight, and what's your sort of experience of it?
Right. Well, I think I stumbled across it on Submit Hub. I think I stumbled across Ed on Submit Hub, and he was talking about the New Artist Spotlight, and he was talking about he wanted to to kind of follow for follow, listen for listen, that kind of stream team sort of thing. And I said, I'm interested. So I think I've been on, not quite exactly from the start. We're very, very close when we were still doing Instagram and all that sort of stuff, doing communication.
You predate me then.
So I was on from quite early, and it's just exploded, and a brilliant platform. All credit to Ed and his team. What they've produced is something that is actually quite unique. Because there are so many resources, there's so much help for everybody, and there's so many great people on there. I mean, everybody I ever reach out to has always been really helpful and supportive and friendly, and there is just so much to get from that community.
Mm.
That it's quite a special thing to be a part of. And I mean, like, you've got the podcast, you've got the questions, you've got these top 10 things, you've got mixing and mastering, you've got all sorts of the question and answer sessions with people. There's so much going on. It's a very vibrant community.
Yeah, it's great. It's almost a bit like magazine-ish, like, the old sort of magazines with all the different stuff that goes on. It's it's cool. It's almost one of these things that where I found it at first, I just thought it might be a bit too good to be true. I was like, is it really free?
Yeah.
And but see, if anything, you kind of earn money from it because you get more royalties and and more listeners. I mean, like you say, the royalties are pretty poor, but that's not why we do it anyway, is it? But that's cool. So I think a lot of one thing I've been thinking about when listening to your music is, well, actually, one of my favorite bands is Tenacious D. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Two guys, two guitars.
Best.
Love I once saw them live when it was just them two, just them two and the two guitars, and it was absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean, I love that. It's a different vibe that you've got, but I love that kind of two men and two guitars, and it puts a lot of limitations on you, I think, because you don't have, the drums, you don't have the whatever else you might have, big production pieces and all the bells and whistles, etc. I find often a lot of the best music comes from having limitations. Do you find it ever a struggle? Do you find it a challenge because you might want to put certain bits in a song that you can't do? And do you thrive on that, or what's your experience?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because when the first EP, we recorded an EP, and that came out last year in the Corona period. A great timing. And we actually had some other musicians that we know come and play on it. So they played. So we had a drummer and a pianist play on that song. And actually, in the end, we were a bit like, well, it's cool to have it, but it's actually not our sound. So those limitations, they kind of force you to think about exactly what you were saying. How do we make the same kind of sound without a drums kit? So a lot of our music is very rhythmic based. So there is a kind of almost a percussion element in there in the way that we play. So I mean, if you listen to people like the Milk Carton Kids, another two bands, they're very much the guitar parts are very much melody guitars, because they've got a band in the background they're playing. So we're a bit more. So Ron's a bit more kind of strum, a bit more funky rhythm guitar, and that makes actually more creative, because you can't have two guitars, acoustic guitars, just strumming all the time, because it just sounds like a lot of noise. So you have to start to get creative about what kind of melodies can I put in to my guitar part. How do I complement the other guitar part and not make it just two guitars that are strumming away? So that forces you to think in a different way of how you're playing. So it's really, my playing has really developed quite a lot because of that. On the other side, we can't. There's one song that's on the EP that I can never play anymore without hearing the drum come in.
Right. yeah. It's just always there now. Yeah,
it's just always there. It's like, the song's called "Left Behind," and we sing the first verse, just the two acoustic guitars, and then, like, just before the chorus comes in, the drummer comes in with a great fill, and every time we play it, it's just I hear that drum fill.
Yeah. Do you know you're saying you play harmonica and stuff as well? Do you play guitar and harmonica at the same time?
I try to avoid it,
Right.
because it's really not very nice. Well, I do play one song where I play guitar and harmonica and sing.
Right. You sing through your harmonica.
No, well, you've got this kind of brace which comes right. I mean, you have to be able to.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah. It looks
and
difficult.
then you have to
that.
kind of be able to sort of tortoise neck over the thing, to sing. So it's not really great for your voice. So I kind of try to avoid doing that. I mean, there are songs where I play, and then I do play harmonica as well, but not with the brace. But then I stop playing guitar and I play the harmonica or the melodica as well. I do that as well. There's a song we do where I have a really quick change. I have first the melodica, and then a guitar solo, and then a melodica, and then the guitar solo. So I'm going to switch in.
Constantly shuffling around. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's that's not so difficult. You kind of get used to you get into the swing of it. But the thing with the harmonica is, if you want to do any cupping techniques, to damp the sound or to give it kind of a tremolo sound, you can't do that with this brace. It's really hard to get because you can't get your hand around the harmonica properly.
Yeah.
So I prefer to play.
You've got a million limitations everywhere, haven't you?
You got limitations every. There's always limitations. I mean, that's what
that's true.
I think forces you to become creative.
Yeah.
Because these are the limitations you have, and I think that's the most important. And the bells and whistles, it would be fun to have a bit more of a big band or whatever around you, because then some of our songs actually lend themselves more to having a band. But
yeah, you can do that in a few years when you've got your studio and all your equipment and all the time in the world.
Well, I mean, a lot of our that's when we went from, like, last year, we really started to get serious about producing and mixing our stuff. So we have actually got percussion on a lot of stuff, like a tambourine, or we have like a little bass drum, like a hand drum thing, and then we started to put piano and stuff in there as well. And so when so that's the nice thing. But when you're recording, you can do all that stuff. The only problem is when we're on stage, we can't.
Yeah, you'll have to become one of those guys who's got like cymbals tied to his feet and maracas on your elbows and doing the whole dance.
I mean,
so I was going to ask you about playing live, because I've noticed you've done a lot of gigs, and that's something that I'm starting to do now is do some gigs. And that's the dream for me, was why I started it. Really, I just wanted to play live with my own stuff. I feel like it's an amazing feeling. And so, how many gigs do you think you've played in total?
Northwards of 50.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you find them easy to come by, or
not? Well, the last sometimes, but not really. It's quite difficult, especially when you're just two of you. Let's say like this: it's easy to get free gigs.
Yeah.
It's easy to get free gigs, but it's not easy to get paid gigs.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And a lot of the gigs we've done have been more or less free.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think we really want to start to concentrate on next. When we can really start to do gigs again, is to start really looking for paid gigs.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be loads of money, but
it's nice. Well, I think a lot of people, I've heard other musicians kind of get a little bit, I would say salty. I don't know if that's a word globally, but a little bit defensive or whatever about other musicians playing free gigs, because they think, well, that devalues the whole industry, and then nobody wants to pay you. But at the same time, I think there's a balance, because again, they could pay you sort of 50 quid or 100 quid or something. Yeah, it's nice, that'd be great, but you don't get in it for that anyway, do you? You still want to play live. You still, I'd still play live anyway to nobody, or a few people. So it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, do you think the same? Like, is playing live like the pinnacle for you?
Yeah, I mean, playing live is the best. I mean, there's no better feeling, you know. And it's we've got a bit of a local following, and it's just a fantastic feeling when you're playing a song and other people are singing along to your song. You know, it's just amazing feeling. And
I've not had that. I rap too fast for them to keep up. So,
but you know what I mean. It's like when people. I mean, it's so that, you know. It's like when people know your stuff, and they, you know, you've got a few fans or followers, and they don't even have to know all the words or anything, but they're kind of, you know, they know it, and they're kind of trying to join in, and that's just amazing. And one thing we have with, like, next week, we've got a gig next week. It's like a yearly festival where you play in people's, like, chamber concerts. Well, there's going to be in the gardens, but it's chamber concerts in the Netherlands, in the city. So they're free, but they're free to get into as well. So any sort of like half an hour, 3 times half an hour in one afternoon, and then anybody can just, and it's in people's houses. So it's just like, you know, you can say, I want to play in the band, or I'm just going to offer my living room for the band to come and perform.
Right, that's cool.
So, and anybody could just turn up and just come and listen to your concert for half an hour. It's always really, really nice. And well, actually, one of our fans, young guy, he contacted me recently, and he said, "Well, started my own singer-songwriter kind of project, and I've got a set of covers I want to do. So I've got a few of my own stuff, and I want to. And do you mind if I cover one of your songs?"
Oh, that's
so he's
great.
going to be at the same festival as we are, in another part of the city, playing in somebody else's living room, playing our song.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like
and I was like, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I'll send in the music and the words, and I said, yeah, go for it. And I think, you know, the fact that somebody, I mean, I'm old enough to be his dad, you know. So let's say that you have touched somebody that they think that song has made impact on somebody else's life. You know, that they actually want to go and play it because it means something to them.
Yeah, I love that. You know? I love it when people send me, every now and then, someone will send me a video of them, you know, listening to one of my songs in the living room, or they'll say, oh, I was listening to you in the car the other day, or it's really cool that people will actually put it on their playlists. And, you know, because I love listening to music so much, and every song that I listen to has a nice little place in my heart. It's nice to give something back, isn't it? And have your own, you know, other people having their relationship with your songs. It's a great feeling. I agree with you there. So we're going to play your latest single, Wakker Vannacht. You said it earlier. That's like the Yorkshire version of whatever.
Wakker Vannacht.
Yes,
it just means,
much better.
Wakker Vannacht is being awake tonight. Say that's I was awake this evening.
Okay. I like it, yeah. So I didn't. I've listened to the track. It's great. I just didn't have a clue what it was about. Because is this the first one you've done in Dutch?
No, actually, it's not. We did one last year called The Dunes, which is half in Dutch and half in English. So actually, the first part of The Dunes is in Dutch, and then I translated it into English. And the second half of the song is as close a translation in English of the first half. So that was kind of our first Dutch English. But this is the first one that we've done in only Dutch. When we started, we were like, well, we're just going to do English songs. We're not going to do Dutch songs. And then we know a writer who writes children's books and sort of novels for a poet. He's a poet and he writes children's books. And he wrote this song. He wrote The Dunes as a poem, and he said he sent it to us, and Ron put it to music, and that was quite a long time ago, actually. And then he said, "Yeah, well, if you fancy trying to translate this, and we could do it in English." And we said, "Well, we could do it in both because it's not a very long song." And we sent it back to Marco, our friend, and he got so enthusiastic, he started writing more songs. So he's written like about 20 songs. So like, we haven't got enough of our own.
You're on a streak. Amazing.
So we were going to try and do that as a kind of a side project with just those songs, but in the end we were like, yeah, well, there's no point. It's only the two of us anyway, you know. So we did it in Dutch. So yeah, kind of we're working with him as well, and he's got a book called Verlangen van de Prins, which is the desire, I think, the longing of longing. The prince's longing, probably the best translation. It's a book for about 12, 14 years of age, and in that book there are a number of songs. So we put those to music so that when he goes to schools, and he reads the book, and the kids ask him, "Well, how does a song sound? What does a song sound like?" So now he's got our songs, he can play them. So Wakker Vannacht is one of his, and we just put it to music, and we just really liked it. And it's basically about waking up in the middle of the night and kind of, you know, that feeling you get when you wake in the middle of the night. You're not tired. You don't really want to get out of bed. You're not, you know, it's that kind of half dream like, you know.
Right. Yeah. I regularly catch my wife in that sort of state when I roll into bed at 3:30 in the morning after being up doing music.
Yeah.
And see in that state, it's just kind of quiet. Halfway between sleep and awake, and just wants to go back to sleep.
Well, when the idea, I mean, it's not really about wanting to go back to sleep, but it's like not being asleep, but not being awake enough to be awake. You know what I mean?
It's sort of lucid state.
Lucid, but like it's okay. You know, it's fine. I was awake, and I could still remember the dream I was having, and it's fine. You know,
that's basically. I like that. I'm here. I'm safe. Okay, cool. Well, let's have a listen to it. You can introduce it because I'm not going to attempt that again.
Okay, so this is the Ennrons with Wakker Vannacht.
Ik werd wakker vannacht, mijn droom nog niet kwijt, waarin onverwacht een spoor werkelijkheid, roepende vogel, hoog in de nachtlucht, verlangens in veevorm, ganzen in vlucht. Tijdloos deze lage landen, stromend vandaar en vandaar weer naar hier. Een dag zonder eind en loom de rivier. Ik keek uit het raam, hoog in de nacht. Wat ik zag fel verlicht, door het licht dat ik dacht. Lente en herfst, winter en zomer. De vlucht van de ganzen, de tijd van de dromen. Laat het water stromen, tijdloos lage land. De stroom is de rivier en land is water, lucht is land. Ik werd wakker vannacht. Ik werd wakker vannacht. Tijdloos deze lage landen, stromend vandaar en vandaar weer naar hier. Een dag zonder einde en loom de rivier. Laat het water stromen, tijdloos lage land. De stroom is de rivier en land is water, lucht is land. werd wakker vannacht. Ik werd wakker vannacht. Ik werd wakker vannacht. Ik werd wakker vannacht.
Okay, that was amazing. Thank you for letting us hear that. Absolutely loved it even more now that I know what it means.
What it means.
Yeah. No, it's great. I like it. It's so like soulful.
And for a bonus point, there is one note in there that we actually had a very, very big argument about.
Right.
It's in the piano part towards the end, and I wanted to put in a fourth on a particular chord, and Ron was like, "No, don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. It's too dissonant." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's But we had a really big argument about one note."
Right. Who won?
We didn't. Well, actually, that's the nice thing. It's like I think Ron capitulated.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, but you shouldn't capitulate, man. It's like, don't do it because I want it. It's like it's got to be." I thought it's got to be something that we can both live with. I couldn't live with just a normal. I think he wanted to put in a fifth or something like that, and I'm like, it just sounds like every other song. It's like. So we ended up putting a second.
I like that.
And we're both like, it's dissonant enough for me, and it's consonant enough for him. It's like, okay, right.
It's a good compromise.
And that's another thing what you were saying about that about limitations. It's like I listen to it and I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that kind of feeling of like jangly, just a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like that.
And he was like, yeah, I don't like that.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's the easy thing for me about being a solo artist. I'm responsible for all the decisions. I can write what I want. Nobody's going to go, oh no, I don't like that line or whatever. And but do you find that you benefit from having two members of the band in terms of like getting out and speaking to people? Are you both trying to book gigs? Are you both kind of networking and?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in the last year, I've become a lot more of the producer. I've got do a lot more of the actual recording, and I'm a lot handier with technology than Ron. But he has just got he's got a bit more time on his hands, and he has just been so prolific. So he comes with so many ideas, and we can we can move forward on that. We can use those ideas as kind of a base to make new songs. So yeah, I think there's definitely a benefit, and like in this situation we were talking about, it's like I can he capitulated. Yeah, I didn't want an argument. Okay, it sounded didn't like it, but I'm like, but I can't live with the fact that he was just like say, oh well, because I know every time he listens to that song, he's going to hear that note.
Yeah.
And
you always hear your own every little detail. It's not only going to be
dissonant in the note, but it's also going to be a bad taste in his mouth because it's like, don't like that. Yeah. and because we could find a middle way, it's like we can both, and actually we're both like, oh right, actually it's the right note.
How much time do you spend together?
Several hours a week.
That's good.
If we're we rehearse at least twice a week.
Right.
At the moment we've got a gig on. We're going to be 3 times a week, and then we're going to have a gig. I mean, I think
you do sound
probably,
tight.
Huh?
You do sound tight.
Well, we're not as tight as we were. Because,
you've got it. You've got it though.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we noticed ourselves. I mean, there's a recording on the EP. We did a live recording that's on Spotify. It's called Radio Café Acoustique. It's like a bunch of live songs, and when I listened to that, I think, yeah, we were really good. we were really tight because we just had a season of like 20 gigs, almost like once every 2 weeks we were playing. So we were constantly rehearsing, constantly playing live. And you know, it's like a footballer, you know, you could be fit, you know, physically fit, but you're not kind of match fit. And you only get that by playing lots of matches. And you know, so we're good, we practice a lot, we play a lot. But we noticed that when because we haven't been gigging last year, we kind of miss a bit of that, you know, that edge. So
and you're right, it takes practice, for sure. I've done the same. I've got some of my tracks, you know, the words come thick and fast, and if I don't practice every week, or you know, if I don't practice one track for a few weeks and then suddenly I find myself just completely forgetting what the next line is, or tripping over my words a little bit, or you notice those fine details, and it's only practice that's going to keep that good. It's like darts as well. I've got a dart board behind me, and you know, I sit here like professional darts players say, you know, they win because they practice 9-10 hours a day until it's just automatic, and like at the minute they stop practicing, even something that you would think you could just, you know, muscle memory would do it for you, it's like, no, you just lose that sharpness. So are you a football man, by the way? You mentioned the football analogy. I like that. Do that a lot myself.
Well, I'm not a player, but I'm a big fan. And my son is a player. My son plays football.
Oh, great. Who's your team?
Well, we support AZ.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mate. They knocked us out of the UEFA Cup in 2000 I can't remember what year it was, but yeah, we beat you. I'm a Newcastle fan. Yeah. Beat you 4-2 at St James's Park, and then lost 2-0 at your place, and went out on away goals.
Was it last year? No, the year before last.
No, this was about 10-15 years ago now.
Oh, so me.
Obafemi Martins scored for us, and I went to the first leg and we beat you 4-2, and then it was dreadful, mate. I think you got knocked out in the semi-finals. I can't remember who.
I think so. So I've obviously talked to my son about that. He's the facts man.
Is he professional or?
No, he's only 15.
Right. Oh, right. Maybe one day then. Yeah, I was like that when I was 15. I was obsessed with facts and stats and everything.
It was like, it's just amazing. It just trots you down. It's like he would be able to tell you exactly who scored, whatever. You know, at that.
Yeah.
Like,
love that enthusiasm. Well, yeah, I mean, it's whatever you've got the passion for. So I've got all the football scarves on my wall. I noticed
I see the Holland one there as well.
One of my mates lived in Holland for a bit in Groningen. So I've been over there. We went over there for his stag do for a few days, which was interesting. And I've been to Amsterdam before as well for another weekend. And I love Holland, to be fair, mate. It's a great country. I like the chilled out vibe. Although some of the 24-hour raves we went to weren't particularly chilled out, but that's a different story. I
don't think 24-hour raves wherever you go are the same. I think you know.
I was going to say, there's noticed a few things on your wall. There's 3 guitars, and what's that? The small one.
There's a ukulele.
Oh, it's a ukulele.
I've got 4 guitars in here. You can't see the other one. I've got maybe I can. Can you see?
Here we go. Yes, see the electric. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. So, are you a bit of a collector, or?
Well, I think anybody who plays a musical instrument becomes a collector at some point. You know, I didn't start out to be a collector. I've got another guitar up there, which is kind of I don't use anymore, but it was the first really good guitar I bought. It was a Yamaha. I think it was about 400 quid when I bought it, which is like 1996 or something. So like 25 years ago.
400 quid. So that's about £1 million today.
It was quite expensive. It was quite an expensive guitar at the time, and I played it for a long time. But it's kind of a thin body guitar. It's got a cutaway, but it's not got a great tone. If you plug it in, sounds a bit tinny when you plug it in. Right. So, So I bought I bought that one's a 12-string Taylor, which I bought for one particular song, and I only play it on that song.
There's a proper musician move, man. It's have you got a wife or anything like that? Have you got a partner or?
I have got a wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Does she approve of all the purchases?
Well, I pay for them out of my own money, so
yeah, that's good then. Yeah, I complain. Yeah.
It's really,
my dad's the same. My dad plays keyboards, and he's always got a minimum of about 3 or 4 keyboards, and then suddenly decides he needs a new one, just something new and fresh. And
yeah.
It's a never-ending game, is it?
Yeah. If she would ever say anything, she wouldn't anyway. But if she would, I would just open the cupboard and say, "Well, look at all those shoes. I'm sure you got rid of all those shoes at the same time."
That's it. Classic jostling, isn't it? No, it's not worth it. No, that's good though. Is she supportive of your music pursuits? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
is she your biggest fan?
No, I wouldn't say she's my biggest fan.
Yeah, she's probably. I imagine is she the one who's heard the most amount of,
she hears all the well, no, the thing is she hears all the mistakes as well when I'm rehearsing.
Oh, really?
So I'm rehearsing in this room, so any mistakes I make, and I've usually got, because there were the two of us, we try and make it like a backing track.
Yeah.
Especially because I play a lot of the solo stuff, so it's really hard to play on your own. You have to play, so I record Ron doing his bit, so all she hears is my bit. And if I make,
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It must be difficult. Well, I suppose you've just explained how you can make it a bit easier. But yeah, so you can sort of you can both practice when neither of you are around. That's good. That I like it. So you record your parts for him as well.
Yeah. Although it's not. Well, certainly when I've got the lead, the rhythm guitar part, then I'll record my bit, and then he can do his bit over the top. I mean, there's really, you don't have to have any special equipment. I just take my telephone and say, right, you play it, and your bit, and then so I take it home, and then I play my bit over the top or whatever. It's just like, really, technology is just amazing that you've got at your disposal. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's resourceful, that as well. Just doing it over the phone, and you just record what he's playing over the phone. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
Or even just get him to do it at home and send me the MP3. Via WhatsApp or something, and it's like, yeah.
I mean, you're right. It's so easy these days, isn't it? Like, it's unbelievable. And I mean, I think it's reflected in the new artist spotlight playlist in the quality of amateur musicians. There's just so much technology at your fingers. Like you can, these things that you would have had to be in a top of the range studio to have access to, and now you can kind of just get a bit of software. Even some free stuff like Audacity and GarageBand can do amazing things. But it all leads you onto that path of wanting to buy the next best, next biggest.
Well, I mean, I kind of resist that a little bit, because I think, we come back again to the idea of limitations in creativity. And in fact, I would say 80% of what you do doesn't need great technology. It needs, it needs good technology. I mean, the stuff we record on, it's just I've got a 2-channel and a 4-channel audio interface, but the noise level on the preamps is like minus 250 decibels. So I don't have to record hot or anything. It just there's just no noise on that recording at all. So I don't have to worry about all sorts of filtering out. So the quality of the gear that you've got is so good. But the problem is everybody's got access to that same gear. So the level, the average level also goes up. So you have to have something else other than just, you have to have that level just to be able to get heard. If you listen to some of the early, stuff from the analog days, and you think, my God, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as what we can make these days, but they wouldn't get through the door. So the because the level has gone up, you have to the starting level is already very high. You know what I mean? So and then when I listen to some of the people indeed on New Artist Spotlight, other indie artists, and I think the quality is just amazing. And then it comes down to songwriting, and performance, and those are the things that you can't you can't change, you can't improve with just technology.
And everyone's got their own style, haven't they? And I like that it's kind of like if you're not, like outside of New Artist Spotlight, all the artists are competing with each other, and they're all jostling for social media space, and or the same blogs, the same gigs, the same everything. But then inside New Artist Spotlight, you've got loads of artists who are actually like working together, giving each other a leg up, and it's amazing, really. It's amazing what we can do. Again, maybe the advances in technology allow us to do these things with our mobile phones, and the world's at your fingertips. It's amazing, really. Possibly makes you a bit lazier, but I don't mind that. I've always been lazy.
Well, I think it puts a lot more pressure on, actually, rather than making people lazy. I think it can tend to burn you out. I mean,
totally agree with that.
The demands of social media platforms, and Spotify is a social media platform as well. I include that. At one point, I think we've got a Twitter account, we've got a Facebook account, we've got an Instagram account, we've got a Spotify account, and then they're going on TikTok, and I'm like, fucking hell, YouTube, and it's like, oh my god, all of these channels, and it just takes so much work to produce content for them all, because you have to be constantly producing content for all of these platforms. So somewhere you have to say, well, you have to focus, and because there's all of these platforms make so much demand, and they're all slightly different. So you can cross-purpose stuff, but you still have to actually do the work. You've got a YouTube video, but you still have to do the little bit of work, the bit of work that takes the bit of the YouTube video, put it on TikTok, or cut it into a Spotify canvas, and it's like,
do the tags and the description and all the rest. Are you on TikTok? Because that's one that I've avoided. I Snapchat and TikTok I don't do, because same with you, I think it just takes so much time doing it. It's almost like, I'm not native to those platforms, and I don't think a lot of my sort of fan base would be anyway. Well, I don't know, to be fair. I'm probably missing a trick by not being on TikTok and Snapchat. Or do you do everything? Or
no, I don't do TikTok. I don't do Snapchat either. Not very active on Twitter, really.
Yeah, I don't really rate Twitter.
No, not really. Not for the band anyway. But Facebook, I do kind of minimum stuff, kind of announcements and stuff like that. But I don't really interact. I think Instagram is the one that's the most leads to the most engagement with people. That was my, that's what we found out. We put stuff on YouTube, but you just cannot keep up with all of the demands. You have to be, really to get anywhere on any one of those platforms, you have to be putting content on there every day or every other day, and it's just,
if you're going to be a professional influencer, then that's the only way you're going to have the time to do it all. I'm the same. I try and put some stuff on there, and I try and do some good content every now and then, but I just, at the same time, I don't want to get too wrapped up in it, because I prefer doing things like this, talking one-to-one, and, I listen to loads of podcasts, or I kind of value just doing stuff more than spending all my time on social media. And but you've got to have a balance, haven't you? You still got to keep people informed. You still got to have some sort of online presence, because as soon as you try and get a gig, or you contact someone, a blog, whatever, they're like, well, where's your social media links? They want to see that you've got some followers and that you've got an active profile and stuff. So you're right. It's almost like the unavoidable thing. You kind of got to do it just to be an artist. But
Yeah, but I mean, there's part of being an artist. The publicity, you have to do it all yourself.
Mm.
And I think it comes down to what is your goal with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, if your goal is to become an influencer on Instagram, well, then that's your goal, and that's your, you have to align what you're doing to that goal. If your goal is to make music and touch people, then that has a different set of activities that you need to do, like writing, practicing, actually recording, making, all of that stuff. And if you spend all your time just doing publicity stuff, you haven't got the time to do the hours of work that it takes to create a piece of music. That is of high enough quality that it can be listened to, that people will want to listen to it. Because that's the other thing. If it your song can be great, but if it doesn't sound great, nobody's going to, people are just going to turn it off.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I'd actually, that answer helps me sort of marry up what I am doing, because I've got these nagging doubts in the back of my head going, should I be doing that? Should I be doing this? But yeah, you're right. It should be based on your goal. And for me, my goal is to be a good live rapper and do some good gigs and build up a set list. So I need to spend that time practicing, writing. That's the bread and butter for me. Practicing, writing, recording, and playing. Those are like my main priorities. So I don't need to go on TikTok. I don't need to go on Snapchat to do any of those things. Which is also why I kind of got into busking. Do you ever do any busking?
Yeah, we do. Well, it's funny, but it's different in the UK. I don't know if it's the same now, but when I was in the UK, I used to busk quite a lot because you could just go and busk. But here you have to have a permit to busk on the street, and it's a bit of a pain in the neck to to request a permit, and you get a permit. So we just don't do it that much. But I would like to do it again. Busking it's a great experience.
Yeah, I like it.
I busked around Europe for about 3 months when I was younger.
Well, that's
me
cool.
and my guitar.
Every day?
Every day, yeah. 2 to 3 times a day sometimes.
Yeah,
just
great.
to earn enough money to pay for my food and lodgings,
Oh, that sounds amazing, man. Yeah, maybe I should do something like that one day. That'd be good.
I wasn't married or had kids at the time, so I was, I was single, and it kind of makes it a lot easier to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not allowed 3 months off these days, mate.
Well, I left my job, and
yeah. Well, to be fair, mate, if you can retire at the end of next year, you'll have plenty of time. You can go on some more busking tours. Come to Leeds. They encourage buskers in Leeds.
Well, it's one of the things we thought about is to do a kind of a tour. Just take a van and just go ride around and just say, like, can we play?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Go to a pub and get whatever. It's just, can we play tonight? If you got some, and then just see how it goes from there. But I think with we'd have to have the time. I would have to have the time. And now my son's 15, so I mean, in a couple of years' time, he'll be probably leaving home to go to university or whatever. So the time will be a bit more. There will be a bit more time for doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still young enough to do it.
Yeah. Something to look forward to. So, what else have you got on the horizon then? What's next for the Ennrons?
Well, at the moment we were writing. We've got just so many songs. I think I've got like 6 songs that we've fully recorded, all the parts, and so I'm mixing those, and we're going to be releasing those throughout the course of this year. And our friend, the writer friend of ours, was a right friend of Ron's actually. The book that we were talking about, he was looking for a publisher to see if they could make a musical out of it. At the moment, that's going to be put on hold because there's just so much stuff in the Corona year that's come out that it's the chances you're going to get anything is quite small. But we want to develop that and do some really good recordings of that so that he can use that when he goes to schools and play those songs for kids to listen to. So that's our music project. And I said, looking for the next level up of gigs, I think that's our thing. That's where we're going next. And
that's good. I like it. It's achievable. It's realistic. One step at a time. I like it. No, that's good. And I think again that's another good thing about music. A little benefit is that it does keep you looking forward, and it gives you something to focus on when you've got some downtime, or even when you haven't got any downtime. You're still worrying about, I need to fit this in, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it just keeps you going. I've found that it sort of stretches out time. Time just seems to fly so quickly sometimes. But since I've been doing this, I look back at what was like 18 months ago, and it seems like it was 5 years ago. Because you end up doing so much and moving on and kind of just doing little bits and progressing, and I find it stretches out time because I've got more to do. And well, do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I mean that's actually a well-known phenomenon now, that when you're doing routine tasks, your brain actually kind of switches off. So you lose a concept of time passing. So it always feels like no time has passed. You're doing the routine, and all of a sudden it's like 5 o'clock. Because your brain is actually not really engaged. But when your brain is engaged in new activities, non-routine things, it actually has a conscious concept of time passing, of how much and then it feels like a lot more time has passed, because your brain is actually actively processing what you're doing.
Right.
And I think music is similar to that, because you actually have to be actively involved. So it feels like you've been busy a lot longer than you actually have. And I get the same feeling. It's like somebody said to me, it's like, oh yeah, it was last March, Corona. I'm like, last March? I thought it was like 2 years ago. It was actually only last March. Only, it's like a year and not even a year and a half. And I'm like, it just feels like we've just gone from, we've just done so much in the last year and a half. I think, was that only a year and a half?
Yeah. The only time that works the other way around is when I'll start writing or something at about midnight. Wife goes to bed, start doing some writing. I'm like, I'm getting somewhere here. Look at the time, thinking it's 10 past midnight and it's 5 a.m. And I've just been so engrossed. Do you know what I mean? Time just goes like that. But that's the joy of the music, isn't it? The love of what we do. I'm sure you've had nights like that yourself.
Yeah. That I have a notepad next to my bed. So sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I just scribble it. Without my glasses on in the dark.
Yeah.
Scribble stuff down.
Saying the same, that he had like a voice recorder, and
it's like, well, actually, I did that one. I had a melody in my head, and I thought I can't write it down, so I came into this room, and I had to kind of whisper it really softly into my telephone, because my son and my wife were asleep, and I sang this melody into my telephone.
I like it.
In the morning. But I have to get it down, because if I don't, I'll forget it.
Yeah.
It won't
the
be
same
there
thing
anymore.
Happens to me. Like, as soon as I go to bed, my ideas start pinging, and then I've got to get my phone out and start typing some notes down, and then sometimes I just got to get it back up, because all I can think about is the music and what I need to do. Yeah, it's madness. So, I mean, it's been amazing to meet you like this. But just before we wrap up, tell us where we can find you on social media, and like what's your Instagram tag and all those sorts of things.
On Instagram and Facebook and on Twitter, we're the Ennrons. It's the name of the band. We also have a website, www.theennrons.com.
Very flash.
And very flash, yeah. Not that it does, to be honest, it's not really that necessary to have a website, but we have a website.
It's nice to have one, yeah.
It's nice to have one. the Ennrons. Actually, if you type in the Ennrons in Google, you'll find us as well. We have a kind of a Google page thing. So
and that's Ennrons.
That's correct. Yeah.
You could have done like, just the letter N and then RONZ if you wanted to be a bit what you might think was cool if you were an 8-year-old.
Well, we're not cool.
Like NSYNC sort of thing.
It's funny because
in excess, like you say.
Enron. There was an insurance scandal there. Enron was
right.
in the United States, but it's only with one N. So it's a portmanteau of our names. My surname is Ennis, ENNIS.
I see.
And Ron is Ron.
No relation to Jessica Ennis.
No relation to Jessica Ennis, unfortunately. Right. Not that I know of, anyway.
You're the second greatest Brit named Ennis.
Probably.
yeah. Discount all the rest. They're gone.
just, I can't think of anybody else. Another Ennis.
No, me neither.
No.
All right. Well,
there aren't that many.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
I've been looking forward to this one for a few weeks, so it's been nice to hook up and finally get to meet. Yeah. Hope it's not the last time that we see each other again, and maybe hopefully I could get to an Ennrons gig sometime, or I'll see you when you're over here.
If you come to Leeds, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, give me a shout. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So for now, I'll say thank you, and also thank you to everybody who's been listening. I'm sure you've enjoyed it because it's been a really good chat. And thanks to all the NAS community, everyone who's chipping in, helping out, everyone who's getting involved, partners, etc., the mods, everyone basically. Thank you, all your pets, your personal chefs, the gardeners. Absolutely everyone, your families, the waiters at the restaurants you eat at, the cleaners. Any more, Bernard?
The butlers,
yeah. Thank you. All doing a good job.
And the sound engineers.
Oh yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Tea lady.
You see, when Origin's not here, it's like, how do I close it? I just keep rambling.
Right. Well, then we'll just close it. We'll just say.
Do you want to close it then, Bernard?
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you very much, Wilko, for having me on this evening. And thanks to the NAS community for making this great podcast possible. And now, go listen to the Ennrons. That's what I'd say.
Yeah,
good night.
Like that. Good night, everyone.